the opposing view has done some very incredible semantics. They drag pornography into this matter. And this is just naked aggression, which has nothing to do with what we're talking about in the matter of misinformation. Because misinformation, in order to have a rule against misinformation, you must have an arbiter of what is truth and what is false. And who do you have to do that? If it's the government that becomes the arbiters of truth, we are in trouble. Because you can never count.
The other side seems very confused about our position. We are not arguing for dictatorship. We are arguing for basic protections to ensure a free exchange of ideas. Protections like the limits on what appears in TV. Lester, would you really allow pornography on broadcast TV? Click it.
I hate pornography, but I want to make sure you cannot see anything that I don't want you to see. What they want is what I want, is that I want to block good stuff from you, because I want to tell you how I think, what I need to do to keep North Korea safe. Taiwan, your country wants, when they want to do what they want to do to push their agenda. Just like my country, North Korea,
Eric, what's your points? What's your arguments? What's your evidences? What's your conclusions? I want to emphasize again, after Douglas. The government we are talking about here is definitely not dictatorship of your government. I disagree with what you say, and I don't think you understand what we are talking about here. We definitely do not want what you want. We are totally different. What we want is the democratic government should do enough job to protect.
Early on, when COVID was starting, in the United States of America, the US Surgeon General got up on public television telling the public, said, do not wear masks. Do not wear masks because they will not protect you. And even if you're wearing the mask wrong, you can increase your chances of getting COVID. You realize that the government many times can be the source of misinformation. Later on, they tried to get people to wear masks, but look at the seed they planted in the very beginning, because they were the source of misinformation, telling people that you should not wear masks. What a folly.
Early on, when COVID started in Taiwan, toilet paper were all gone just because misinformation. Because people thought that the raw material of toilet paper were used up by face masks. So Darren, do you want to pull without toilet paper? You said you want to protect your children, so you can't even protect your butt.
in North Korea, nobody uses toilet paper. Government clean your butt.
Every time we have Taiwan, every time we have demonstrative thing happened, the paper is gone. The instant news is gone. Is that misinformation? That's a panic. Everybody have a panic, like a stock market. It's up and down. It's not a misinformation. People have emotion. So we have to protect the truth from against that people down there try to make their people stupid, like North Korea. They don't use toilet paper. What they don't use, they have to use things from the internet. Google can use it, make you think. That's our stand, our idea.
All right, forget about toilet paper. Well, that's important, right? They are arguing a pointless point here. They are presenting dictatorships to you as responsible government. Dictatorships are not about protecting us from misinformation. They are about the suppression of truth. The suppression of truth is different. Completely different. That's their argument. We believe in dictatorships to suppress the truth. I agree they do. But freedom of speech, the ability to have dialogue, protects us from misinformation. And the law for the freedom of speech comes from who? The government. And because the government mandates freedom of speech, we are protected from misinformation because we.
If that's dictatorship, then Taiwan government can also be interpreted as a dictator because they shut down CTI TV just because of its critical reports that it has made. And everybody knows that. So to give the government the power, and we're surrendering, to give the government the power to decide what is misinformation, we are surrendering our rights to freedom of speech. And in that case, that anything that we say is not going to stand.
Victoria, I said, in a democratic government who mandates freedom of speech, the freedom of speech in a democratic government is the thing that guarantees and protects us against misinformation. As soon as we take away freedom of speech, we cannot have the arguments. Dr. Fauci cannot be called in front of Congress and be challenged for his bad ideas. And by the way, let's get misinformation. It wasn't the Surgeon General, it was Fauci, who is not Surgeon General. But that aside, Taiwan is clearly not a dictatorship. Misinformation from a journalist. But we can debate that point openly and freely. Yes, freedom of speech, mandated by the government, protects us from misinformation. It is.
Paul just gave misinformation. He said it was Dr. Andrew Fauci. I have an article from CNN saying that it was the US Surgeon General. We all make mistakes. And sometimes we misquote facts. But do you want to be labeled as a misinformant? No. The government should not meddle in there. Wuhan, China, there's a doctor that posted a video of having a horrible disease. And it was very frightening. Immediately, the government shut it down and said there's no such problem. And the whole world got caught off guard when they could have had an early start against protecting themselves against COVID because the Chinese government gave the misinformation that there's nothing to worry about when there was the hell of a world to worry about and gave.
Hi, I'm a famous, powerful person. Millions admire me. I want to get rich. I'm going to publish information that the real source of COVID is lack of frog skin. I sell a special formula that will cure COVID, made of frog things. I charge $500 a bottle. I get rich. It's all fake. People are dying. Is the other side telling me the government should do nothing about the misinformation I'm publishing? Is that your position?
Hi, it's Eric here. Kim Jong-un had to go use the bathroom.
Does he have toilet paper?
I want to tell you one thing. Do you guys think the numbers for COVID cases here in Taiwan are accurate? Do you ever question if we really have 0 cases? Do you ever question that? They are saying the government should give you and protect that information, and you should fully trust that information from a democratic country. Okay? Douglas is playing you dumb, making you think that you are not smart enough to think frog skin is gonna cure COVID. Come on. He's playing you guys dumb. You guys are much smarter than that. Maybe Kim Jong-un doesn't think so. But
You avoided my question.
They are completely avoiding the question. They have not raised a single argument. Our position is this: misinformation kills. By the way, there is an article about Fauci saying no masks. Fake information again from Leicester. But here's the thing. You, Victoria, reported on phone scams. Do you know the story of Johanna, the Korean pop star? She was 23 years old, and because she was scammed, because the government failed to protect her, she committed suicide. Misinformation kills. We need protection from it. Freedom of speech, the ability to challenge the government, protects us from misinformation.
Still Eric here. Look, we are not avoiding any this argument, okay? The point here is that government should not be the people who are deciding how you think. You guys can think for yourself. There are other institutions, including TV companies, and we can all decide which companies to support that can control these things. Governments are not agenda-free. They are not unbiased. Two-party systems, three-party systems, they all have an agenda. Should they be the one deciding what you know and what you think? And what your kids think? No, they should not.
So again, I noticed they avoided my question. Because their solution would say, let's take the richest, most powerful people with the most viewers, the ones that own TV stations, the ones that own Google, the ones that own Facebook, and give them all the power with no protection. Who can offset that power if the government gives up? We, the people, elect the government. We have to protect ourselves. Don't let them say, give it all to Mark Zuckerberg. We'll just trust him. What would you do to stop him?
An alliance of doctors started to find a very cheap medicine that was invented 30 years ago. The inventors won a Nobel Prize, and
13's run out of time.
What we want to say about that is that what they've been arguing, they haven't presented an argument. What Darren did was he said, look at China, bogeyman, suppression of truth in China. What Eric did, oh, get up there, smoke and mirrors. There was not a single argument there. It's a suppression of truth. Controlling truth is not protecting people from misinformation. Victoria, did you really want that girl to commit suicide? I don't think you did. I do not believe that they have presented any arguments. They just said, be scared of China, be scared of North Korea, be scared of that. But the fact is, our governments already do protect us from misinformation. As they've stated, I'm sure Doug can add on to that.
Absolutely. I mean, we're not saying crazy things. The fact is, if a government says, let's have speed limits on the road, it doesn't mean they're going to take all our cars. Exactly. We're just talking about simple, logical, common sense rules to protect fairness, to protect the vulnerable, to give a voice to those who don't have a voice, and to balance the powerful, darker forces that want to control us with fear, with misinformation, to exploit us, to sell us things, to make us struggle.
Time's up. Total time?